Good evening and welcome to Get Real with Ralph. I'm your humble host, Ralph Nudi, coming to you live from the studios of AM 1050 WLIP, still located in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin for a few more weeks, and simulcast live from Kenosha to the Canary Islands and all across the globe via our YouTube channel. Go to GetRealWithRalph.com to tune in. That's GetRealWithRalph.com.
Stuck in the middle with you, and I'm wondering what it is I should do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care whether you're left of center, right of center, far left, far right, or stuck in the middle with me. I promise you I'm going to have something entertaining for you. I'm going to say some things that you agree with, and I'm definitely going to say some stuff you don't. But we're going to talk about the dirty, nasty subject of impeachment today. I know it's ugly, but we're going to put some facts out there and talk about the process more than the actual person and why it's a sham. Also tonight, special musical guests, Indigo Canyon. This will be Michelle Warnicki's second time around, but they're on together, and you're going to really love them. You're in for a treat. And we're just going to jam it out. All right, let's get real. No wonder I couldn't think. I didn't have my glasses on.
That's what it is, right?
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Has nothing to do with your brain.
As usual, my trusted co-host and amazing friend, Mr. Jim Celovich, here in the studio. Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, buddy? How's your week?
My week was fantastic.
All right.
Great week on the work front in the real estate business. Great week on the family front, doing good stuff with the kids and with my wife. Had a great dinner last night over at Sazzy B. Shout out to them. And as a matter of fact, one of our newest 262 Eats episodes is going to be coming out about the place, and I'm just loving that. We popped over at Union Park Tavern for a little while. We ran over to TG's where they had a rockabilly band that I haven't heard before, but speaking of rockabilly bands, I bumped into Steve Crucinelli.
Did you now?
And, yeah, we had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to dig into that a little later as well.
Nice. Yeah, Steve's a good guy. I've known him for years.
Great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's just been a great week all the way around. How about you? You working on your rehearsals for the new show yet?
Working on rehearsals for, what's it called? Death of a Streetcar Named Virginia Woolf.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is a mouthful. It's a lot to remember, especially for a man my age.
So that is a parody of Death of a Salesman.
Death of a Salesman.
A Streetcar Named Desire.
Yep. And Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which I'm ashamed to say I've never seen Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Nah, me neither.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the premise of the parody?
It takes all the people from those different plays, throw them all together, basically.
So it's like a live theater version of Naked Gun based on old plays.
It could be, yeah.
Are you Leslie?
No, I'm Willie Loman. I'm actually playing Willie Loman.
Surely you can't be serious.
Yeah, I am serious, but don't call me Shirley.
So you still got it.
So we have we're 2 weeks in rehearsals now, so this could be good. Things are coming together, and folks, if you want to check it out, it's going to be at the Rhodey Center for the Arts, part of Lakeside Players' stage noir type of plays, little off-center plays.
For those of you that haven't been there, the Stage Noir is a small black box theater. The Rhodey Center has really come along in recent years, the quality of production, and the black box theater is just a small theater where you don't build a set. It's all
Skinner Hall.
It's all based on the acting. It's almost like going to an acting school.
Yeah, basically, a lot of it is all about the acting, all about the words and the acting and the playwright, things as such. So it's great. We're going to have a great time with it. I am wearing a mustache now because that's Willie's going to be having a mustache.
I was wondering when you were going to get the conversion van with the darkened windows when I saw that mustache today, but yeah, that's for another conversation.
That's a whole different show, folks. So we got that coming up, and it's going to be great. We open March 6th. If you want to get tickets for that, it only runs 2 weekends, 6 performances. Friday, Saturday, and again on Sunday afternoon. March 6th, 7th, 8th, and then the following week, the 13th, 14th, and 15th. 2 o'clock shows on those Sundays and 7:30 shows on a Friday or Saturday. Go to Rhode Center, that's RHODE Center.org if you want to get some tickets, or you buy them at the door as well. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a great time.
It's always a good time over at the Rhode Center.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rhode Center, they have their own version of, I keep wanting to say Rocky Horror, but it's not. It's the plant-eating one.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. What's wrong with my brain today? They have the Little Shop of Horrors opening the first weekend in February. Mm-hmm. And I believe we're going to have the cast here that Sunday to talk about it after opening weekend because we couldn't get them in before.
Okay.
But pretty excited about that. I dropped in on a rehearsal, and they're really looking good.
Yeah, we can hear them going on as we're rehearsing in Skinner Hall, which is the black box.
Sure.
We're in Skinner Hall. They're over at the main stage, and we can hear it coming together. We can hear the singing and the music playing and things as such.
They have some very talented cast members for the show.
Oh, hell yeah!
Probably
really good.
Some of the most talented cast members they've had all in one show. Mm-hmm. In as long as I've been going to shows there. Yeah. And that's not to take away from any of the other shows, but it's a great assemblance of talent.
I've seen plenty of shows there, and believe me, there's so much. We always talk about how much talent we have in musically with different bands in the area. Same thing with the acting.
This is just a cultural epicenter.
Absolutely.
And as we make our move over the next several weeks to our new location in Gurnee, Illinois, we're still a Kenosha show. We're still going to have Kenosha guests. We're still going to talk about the goings-on in the area here because this is a cultural oasis in the middle of a place you wouldn't expect it. And hopefully we'll start to reach some additional audiences and kind of bring them in.
Right.
And we can make it grow even further. So I see a lot of opportunity with this move that we're making here. So if you've been listening to the show, if you're a regular WLIP listener, hey, hang on, this is only going to get better because we're going to have better facilities. We're going to have more resources to bring you, the listener, good information and quality entertainment.
Absolutely. Those don't know, it's happening. It's going to happen. I guess it's going to be in the middle of next month. I haven't gotten a date yet on it, but it will be in Gurnee Mills, down in Gurnee, Illinois.
Well, the mall is, I think, closed when we go on, but if you do go to the mall, you can walk past, and all the Alpha Studios are going to be glass-walled, so you can see them while they're broadcasting.
So you actually can see Lenny when he talks.
That might not be good for him.
I think he might get a new pair of sweatpants. I should be talking. I'm wearing sweatpants right now, but it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Do you think they'll be able to hear him on the other side of the glass when he starts going off on people?
How could you not? How could you not?
And think about all the subject matter for him to make fun of walking past. Because I have a feeling that Lenny might find some of the people walking past entertaining.
Well, I think he'll find him entertaining.
Yeah, it'll be like
walking by the zoo.
Both ways.
Walking by the zoo.
Yeah, he's going to think he's at a zoo, and they're going to think they're at a zoo. So I don't know who's right or wrong.
Just don't tap on the window.
You might give him a heart attack. He's that age.
You tap on the window. He might come at you. Got to be careful.
I wouldn't want him to come at me.
No, he's a big boy.
He's a lumberjack.
Yeah, he's a former weightlifter in the.
Oh yeah, just ask him; he'll tell you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you want to know anything about Lenny, just tune in.
Just ask
and
him.
it is a good show and fun to listen to.
Fun time.
Not as much fun as us, of course, but still fun.
Saw a great movie this weekend, and I urge everyone, even if you're not a war buff, 1917 is probably one of the most. I'm going to say straight out, this is the best war picture I've ever seen.
Better than Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
That's saying
10 times, but 10 times better than Saving Private Ryan.
I loved Saving Private
So
Ryan.
did I.
I saw it at the theater when it came out. I remember that opening scene with the amphibious landing unit. I remember almost ripping the armrest off.
Okay, maybe not 10 times better because that was amazing. That was unbelievable. I remember when I saw that movie, a lot of World War II veterans were in the crowd, and they were in absolute tears.
They stopped breathing.
They're in absolute tears.
Yeah.
This one, even if it's one continuous shot, it's one continuous scene. It doesn't cut.
That's what I heard.
It's one continuous.
So think about that. The cameras are rolling for the entire movie.
Entire movie.
So it's basically they had to perform it live? Like one take?
There's got to be... I'm watching it too. I'm watching for the cuts.
And you can't find them?
Oh, there's a couple of them when you do because they have to go to night at one point.
Got it.
So, but still, it's still continuous up to that point. Now I'm looking for different ones. They're like, well, when somebody screws up, or what somebody's wearing a Rolex watch or something, some that whatever,
Right.
you know what I mean.
And screw-ups happen in movies all the time.
Getting back to the movie itself, you don't have to be a war buff to like this movie. It talks about friendship. It talks about loyalty. It talks about the human heart. It talks about, someone achieving great things. It's very inspirational. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not afraid to say this, it made me cry. It has that type of thing to it. It choked me up.
It doesn't take much to make me cry in a movie if it's good.
Yeah, well, it's... You'll love it, folks. Movie 1917, and I hope it wins the Oscar as well, because it won every other awards. Except for that movie Parasite. I haven't seen Parasite yet.
What's that one about?
That's about 2.5 hours. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't get that? You didn't get that?
I totally missed it.
It's about, what it's about? I said it's about 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
You still don't get it?
No.
Wow. No? Nobody gets that joke?
Right now, do you get it?
What's the movie about? It's about 2.5 hours.
All right. Your humor is too advanced for my simple mind.
Let's take a break.
We are going to take a break.
And everybody that's sitting at home are thinking, man, you have no sense of humor whatsoever. That's funny. That is funny.
I know in my heart I am very funny, Sergeant. Isn't that from Good Morning Vietnam?
We'll be right back
after the break.
Real travel is life-changing. With Trafalgar, you'll discover the best way to travel and connect with the culture, people, and places you visit. You'll travel with the freedom to discover and the confidence to explore. With over 300 trips on all 7 continents, you get real experiences that you won't find elsewhere. These are just a few of the greatest travel stories you'll ever tell. Save up to 7.5% on trips. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your travel agent or Trafalgar.com. Trafalgar, simply the best.
What would you like to be better at?
Dancing.
Poker.
Yoga.
According to a study, CVS customers are better than most at something important, staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. So get a free prescription savings review, plus earn up to 50 extra bucks rewards each year for filling. Because of the things you could be better at, staying healthy tops them all. Treat yourself well at CVS. Terms and conditions apply. Not all prescriptions eligible. See our pharmacist or cvs.com/rx savings or /rx rewards.
Hi, Ralph Nudi here from Get Real with Ralph and 262 Eats. Listen, if you are looking to sell your home, you're going to want to reach out to us, the success team at eXp Realty. Let me show you how I leverage my presence in social media and traditional media to attract attention to your property and get it sold. If you're interested in finding out more, give us a call at 262-656-7171, or you can get a hold of the success team at eXp Realty by going to 262kenoshahomes.com. Thank you.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
And we're back in the studio, Get Real with Ralph, your humble host, Ralph Nudi, here at AM 1050 WLIP, and our bumper music today, Van Halen, as it is Eddie Van Halen's birthday, and I want to thank Mr. Selovich for queuing up Eruption as the first one. He is so good, you can't even play air guitar to it.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
65 years old today.
65 years old, and I found out about it on Sammy Hagar's social media, which I think was such a classy thing for him to put a shout out to Eddie Van Halen being the greatest of all time. And I don't know if you could, there are so many greats of all time when it comes to guitarists that I don't know if you could say he's the one best. But I would definitely say he is
Generational.
among the best guitar players
I think
ever.
he brought forward something into rock and roll where, I mean, I remember hearing this for the very first time. I remember hearing, their first album right from the beginning. I was in high school, and I was like, what is that?
Their cover
Who
of You
is
Really
that?
Got Me, that is one cover. We always talk about covers versus originals. Their cover of You Really Got Me is better than the original.
Oh, yeah.
It's more classic. As soon as that jumps in, do you remember when they made that Nissan commercial with You Really Got Me, and they had G.I. Joe pull up and away from Ken?
No.
It was one of the funniest commercials ever, and I thought I knew that we were getting old when the music we grew up with started showing up on commercials, because that used to be the thing. It was only old music that they did. But great funny commercial. Great guitarist, Van Halen, one of the best bands of all time.
Yeah, he brought forward something unique, something different, something unbelievable. I mean, he really influenced so many of the guitar players of today.
Absolutely.
And what he's done. And put himself right up there with Hendrix and the rest.
I told my kids when I was introducing them to our genre of music, which I'm glad that I did. And, of course, Guitar Hero helped. I can always tell a Van Halen song, even if I've never heard it before, and even if there's no vocals in it, by the way you hear Eddie Van Halen's fingers almost like sweat across those strings. Mm-hmm. He's got this certain signature to his pattern that I can tell it's an Eddie Van Halen piece within a moment.
Sure.
And that's a testament to him.
And he brought the finger tap forward.
Yes. As
I
well,
mean, guitar players have been doing it for years.
As well as crazy stuff like taking the drill and putting it up next to it. The only other guitarist I know who is that innovative was probably Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
And Hendrix...
Well, there you hit the word right there, innovative.
Innovative.
Yep.
Innovative. And Hendrix would have remained innovative. Had he lived, he may have... I think people would have called him the greatest of all time, but he never even realized his full potential, and he's one of the greatest.
A lot of what ifs there. It would have been great. How would music have changed? What would he have done to change music or take music in a different direction? But, he said that about Buddy Holly, too. And that anniversary is coming up, too.
I saw the Buddy Holly musical at Fireside Theater right before Christmas, and that was a really good show, a short theater and around musical, and it takes you all the way up to the day the music died. Mm-hmm. And what an interesting story.
Yeah, they came through Kenosha a couple of weeks before that crash.
And they were they in Iowa?
Yeah, it was in Clear Lake, Iowa.
It was just a small venue, like a hall that you would have a bingo night at, basically. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to get out of there in a hurry, and they died.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of which, got
to mention it.
We've got this helicopter crash, and
tragic.
It was confirmed that Kobe Bryant, as well as his daughter, and 4 other people perished in that accident.
Yeah.
And so that's,
still being investigated, things as such. I guess, I don't know. It's
more to come. I'm sure that by tomorrow the news cycle will start telling more details on it.
Yeah,
but
tragedy.
A sad tragedy.
Tragedy.
I'm going to switch gears here now. And I brought it up on social media a couple of days ago, and I've been talking about it consistently since we've been on this show. The subject of impeaching this current president. And I'm going to weigh in on it here with some details and with some thought. And believe me, I have put a lot of thought into this over a long period of time. I have a lot of friends who loathe this president. And I don't dislike them for it. I don't hold them in ill regard for it. I understand it. I do understand it. And it is very hard to take a look at justice when the subject is somebody that you loathe. But it's what defines us as a country. Can we be just to people that we dislike? Can we be just to people that we even hate? And in this case, can we be just to the American people when they're being represented by somebody that half the country dislikes on a very high level? Now, it is currently fashionable to hate President Trump. It's the in thing. Let's face it. The real estate developer turned reality show star makes it easy for people to level claims of intolerance, easy to level claims of racism, easy to level claims of xenophobia and any other personality flaws you can think of, because President Trump has a big mouth. That's the truth. and he's easy to anger and has a history of going in the gutter with his rhetoric. There is no getting away from that. And if you're a supporter of the president, if you like the president, if you voted for him, but you aren't recognizing those facts, you're being intellectually dishonest, just as intellectually dishonest as the people that are trying to impeach him. So I recognize that. These are legitimate reasons to oppose this president on a personal or political level. And whether or not he's actually all of those things or not, I believe is open to debate, because I see a big difference between his rhetoric that he has used as a tool to get ahead in his life and his actual policies. And so there are a lot of Americans who voted for this man that may not like his rhetoric, but like his policies and see through it. And so for those of you that are scratching your head trying to figure out how in the hell this man got elected president, that would be why. Just last night, I had a discussion with a well-known local musician and friend, and we talked about all of this. And this gentleman and I are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. He is one of those people who truly dislikes this president, and I respect him for it. Where I start to have a problem is when the double standard comes out and we start impeaching a president or trying to impeach a president for political purposes. The tool of impeachment is a really important tool that was given to us by the founders when they wrote the Constitution. And it set a very high bar, and the high bar is there for a reason. Elections are the proper way to express approval or disapproval of a sitting president. Elections, the American people, not the ruling class sitting in Washington, D.C. So I think it's important to start separating the two, and I don't see that happening on any of the news shows on television at night. Everybody's weighing in whether they love this guy or hate this guy, or whether he's right or whether he's wrong. But you don't have a lot of intellectual discussion on the process and whether or not the process is warranted or whether or not it's correct. Now, there's a lot of big differences between conservative thought, liberal thought, and what I call the social progressive movement. And there's a difference between liberalism and the social progressive movement. Conservative thought, for those people who are truly conservatives and not conservatives for the wrong reasons, are focused on individualism. Conservatives are focused on personal responsibility, and they're focused on limited government. True liberals in this country are our conscience. I have said this in private. I'm going to say it in public on the radio. I know I'm going to take some flack for it, but a nation without liberals would be like having a household without children. I am not calling liberals children, but let's face it, when mom and dad are busy trying to get on with the business of the day, making sure that their budgetary needs are made, making sure that dinner's on the table, making sure the house is clean, making sure the kids are dressed, and all the stress is on them, it is the children at the dinner table who will remind you, hey, we forgot to say our prayers. They're the ones that are going to push you to do some things in life that are fun and important and wholesome and part of your growth. But you can't just take what they want and run a household on it. It's an important balance. Social progressivism is not the same thing, and unfortunately, one of our political parties has been hijacked by this movement of the cancel culture, the thought police, hating people, getting sponsors to revoke their sponsorship of any thought that they disagree with, and making it so that there is no discourse. The very people who claim that they are the same party of liberals who just wanted to have a fair voice, an equal voice, are now trying to cancel out the voices of the people whom they disagree with, and it's killing us. It's killing our country. I think Ricky Gervais did a great thing when he roasted all of Hollywood, because he's telling these people to get real with yourselves. Stop being hypocrites, because we have a bunch of hypocrisy. And that hypocrisy right now is focused on impeaching a president of the United States that was elected by the people and is up for re-election in less than a year. They have found a constitutional process that was designed for somebody who actually commit treason against this country.
So he did nothing wrong?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
They intentionally took a process that is designed for people that have committed treason against our country, that have actually sold our country completely out, that are in a position where it's dangerous to keep them for an extra couple of weeks, and they're using it for purely political purposes. It is a one-partisan impeachment, and it's probably going to be a one-partisan acquittal. But what they got is a free infomercial for 8 days about how they hate President Trump at the taxpayer's expense. And that's where I have a problem. Now, do I think this president did nothing wrong? I'm not prepared to say that. Here's what I am prepared to say. I've dug into this entire scandal, if you want to call it, that centers around the Bidens, centers around the Ukraine, centers around the Ukrainian ambassador, and centers around this whistleblower that supposedly came forward because he was deeply concerned about our country. And I want to start by talking about this whistleblower and who he is. Now, although it's unconfirmed, several media outlets have actually divulged the identity of the whistleblower, who is a CIA analyst who was deeply involved in the Obama administration and deeply involved personally with Joe Biden, and is implicated in memos toward the end of the Obama administration trying to cover up the fact that Joe Biden was corrupt, that Joe Biden used political pressure and $1 billion of U.S. taxpayer money to have a prosecutor fired who is investigating his son for getting basically the equivalent of a no-show job. That's what the mob used to do. You get out of jail, you have to have a job. They get some union to give you some cushy job where you collect a paycheck and you don't even have to show up. Joe Biden's son had zero experience in the field of energy, but yet was suddenly sitting on the board of one of the most corrupt energy companies in the world, making $50,000 a month. And they didn't want you, the taxpayers, to know about that because it would look bad. And it does look bad. And it smells. This same administration used the State Department, used the FBI to spy on a presidential candidate and find dirt on him and implicate him in Russian collusion. At the same time, we had the Russians interfering with our election process. We know that. But here's the real truth. The Russians don't care. They don't give a rat's rear end who the president of the United States is. What they do care about is whoever that president is discredited and politically weak so they can push us around. It's all they have left. They're a desperate country who just happens to have a bunch of good hackers working for them. And in the beginning, if you believed the media, you believed the next president of the United States in early 2016 was going to, in fact, be Hillary Clinton. It was inevitable, and there was nothing to be done about it. What did the Russian government do? They started putting out disinformation, bad information about Hillary Clinton. Did they do it because they were trying to steal the election for Donald Trump? No. They did it to weaken the future president of the United States. But when the Russians and the American people and the rest of the world figured out that the media was wrong on Election Day and Donald Trump got elected, first of all, there was a whole lot of panicking going on in the executive branch of the United States government because they did a bunch of dirty stuff, and now suddenly they had to find a way to get away with it. And the best way to do that is start accusing the incoming president of every kind of wrongdoing possible and try to discredit him every way possible so that they could save their own hides. In addition to that, the Russians were smart. They realized the American people thought they stole the election for Donald Trump, so why wouldn't they say, as Frank Pentangeli said, Don Corleone this, Don Corleone that, and the Russians said, yeah, sure. That's what we did. We helped the president get elected, because in doing so, they have discredited the president of the United States, which was their ultimate goal in the first place. So all the dummies in the media need to wake up and realize that we've been had by the Russians, and it didn't matter who won. Instead, the partisans are so consumed with their own hate, their own anger over losing an election, and part of the Obama administration being consumed with the idea that people could possibly go to jail, along with a bunch of Republicans who don't like this president either because he's not part of the military-industrial complex and doesn't want a further agenda. And they've all banded together on a very easy target because this guy is loose with his mouth. In the meantime, the sitting president, who has a good idea in his head that corruption went on in a previous administration, says to the country that all the corruption is surrounded in, I need you to look into what happened before I got elected president. Now, he didn't say this in a vacuum. He didn't say this because he just had a hunch. He said this because Joe Biden bragged about it. If you haven't heard that before, if you haven't heard the clip that I've played with Joe Biden bragging, I'm going to read directly from the transcript Joe Biden's own words and let you, the listener, decide whether or not this would give you a reason to be suspicious. It doesn't mean he's guilty. It doesn't mean he's convicted. But if you're the chief executive of the United States of America and you're in charge of all law enforcement and you heard this, would this lead you to believe that maybe this guy might have done something illegal and it should be investigated? Here's what Joe Biden said, and I quote, I remember going over and convincing our team, others to convince that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, 12th, 13th time to Kiev, and I was supposed to announce there was another $1 billion guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they could take action against the state prosecutor. And they didn't. And so they said they were walking out of a press conference. I said, nah, it's not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. And I said, call him. And there Joe Biden laughs. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it's about 6 hours. And I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bleep, he got fired. And they put someone in place who is solid. That's what Joe Biden said. He specifically bragged that he was going to withhold money if they did not fire a prosecutor who was investigating the company his son sat on a board for, making millions of dollars. And the current president wants to have this investigated, and the accusation is that the president is abusing his power for political purposes. While they're accusing him of this, they're abusing their power for political purposes by having a sham impeachment hearing that they have no chance of winning. They know they have no chance of winning. They had not one person in the Republican Party voting for it. And you have the media comparing this to Watergate. But Watergate, ladies and gentlemen, was a bipartisan affair. The Republicans in the country were going to vote against Nixon. Nixon knew it was over because he had lost all of his own party, and he was gone. This is not that. This is a trap. If we, the American people, accept that every time one party is in Congress and another party is president, that they can start tying up all of our dollars in impeachment inquiries instead of doing our work, that we're going to lose our republic regardless of who's sitting in the Oval Office. So if you do not like this man, vote against him. But call your congressman and tell them that it's your choice as a voter, not their choice to decide who sits in that Oval Office unless there's something so egregious that they have to be removed for the security of our country. Back in a minute.
Kenosha's conversation happens here, live and local. Turn on AM 1050 or WLIP.com.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Are you a veteran or do you know a veteran who needs help? Those who bravely served our country should not have to worry about hunger or homelessness. The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program is here to assist. Together with our partners like the local county Veterans Service Officers, we can connect veterans with services, care, financial and legal assistance, housing, mental health, and substance abuse treatment, and more. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's wisvets.com. Message sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs.
AM 1050, WLIP, live and local. Area 1051, with your host, Dr. Destruction. Aliens and UFOs, plus legendary tales of extraterrestrials, spirits, and ghost towns. Tonight, midnight till 4 a.m. on The Lip.
Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. At 7 a.m., I shower. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m. to give Dad his medicine. At 6 a.m., I make his breakfast. At 7 a.m., I shower. I start laundry at 8. At 10, we go for a walk. Every day, I wake up at 5 a.m.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Friday morning, Joe didn't know which Money Wheel sponsor would come up, so Monday morning, Wake Up Kenosha is back with $24.50 in the Money Wheel. It's brought to you by A.B. Schmidt's Insurance, something different. Summers Garden, Florist & Gifts, Library Park Dental, and Building Waters. $24.50, something to think about over the weekend. Come back Monday for your chance to win the Money Wheel. Wake Up Kenosha.
This is Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Mason's Eatery and Pub, Highway 50 just west of Green Bay Road, Kenosha. Serving breakfast 7 days a week, 8 until noon. MasonsBar.com.
Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 28. Those west winds stay around 10 miles per hour. Then Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. And Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on AM 1050 WLIP.
And we're back. Talking about a beautiful girl, huh, Jimmy?
Yeah.
One of the best.
Eddie Van Halen's birthday, folks, 65 years old today. Can you believe it? Eddie Van Halen's 65.
If Eddie Van Halen is 65, then I'm not a kid anymore.
Nope.
Darn. I loved being a kid. Who wants to grow up?
I refuse to grow up.
I know, and that's what I love about you, Jim.
Just ask anybody who knows me.
So in the studio, we have a very special musical guest. We have Indigo Canyon, and they are a lot of fun. We got Michelle and Todd here, and they are going to play some music for us, and they're going to talk to us about their music. Welcome to the program, guys.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh, let me turn the mic on. Hang on.
Oh, we got to turn the mic on.
Thanks for having us.
Hello.
Hello. You are now on. You're on the air.
All right.
So introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about the two of you. Now, you are a couple as well as a musical couple, correct?
Correct.
So give us the backstory, man. I want to hear how Indigo Canyon happened to be. Was it love first and then music, or was it music first and then love?
I'll let you go. You tell it.
You got to lean in really close too, almost like you're making love to the microphone.
Well,
you two are in love, right? I mean, you just want to throw that out there, you know.
I don't see any wedding rings, so they must be in love.
Yeah, basically.
Well, we both were on the music scene quite a bit. Whether it was checking out other bands or playing ourselves, open mics and stuff. And so we ran into each other quite a bit and, decided to hang out a little bit more. And, I mean, the rest is history, I suppose.
So did you start writing music together right away?
No, not right away. I would say, a couple months into it, we're like, we're both musicians. This could work out.
Now tell me the truth. How long did you know her before you wrote a song about her?
Well, that one was pretty quick.
Now, were you guys in different bands and you disbanded those bands, or you jumped from those bands to play together?
I've been in a number of bands, and Michelle was in a band at the time when we met.
Yeah, it's called War Pines.
I'm sorry, what?
It was a band called War Pines.
War Pines? Okay.
War Pines, like pine trees? War Pines?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, all right.
What kind of music?
It was a little bit heavier. It was just a 3-piece. It was guitar, drums, and bass. And
Like
I was on vocals.
So just 3-piece rock?
Yeah, basically.
Old school rock?
Yeah, stuff that I wrote, just basically a little fuzzier, a little bit more distortion.
Nice.
I like it.
But yeah, so us writing together, I think, took a little bit of effort. He was in separate bands and I was in separate bands, and we write very differently. So
we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we're still working on it. It's just taking time, like melding our styles and learning how to write a song is hard enough, but doing it like with somebody else takes time.
What's your process?
As of right now, we both love like the raw emotion aspect of it.
Okay.
So we hang out with GarageBand on an iPad and we just go out to our garage and we just have fun and get really silly.
Okay.
And just do all sorts of weird random ideas and then come back later with a maybe sharper mind the next day.
I think some of the greatest art comes from weird.
Oh yeah.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
All good art comes from weird.
Those
Oh my
places are those times where you feel safe and okay being vulnerable and just whatever. So yeah.
Right.
And then when we think we have something, we've recently been working with a drummer quite a bit. So when we think we have something, we kind of bring it to him and try to develop it a little bit more and such. So, but yeah.
So you got some songs for us, and some new ones, right?
Yeah, we're going to play a couple tunes that we don't even really play out that much yet.
That's cool. Something new and fresh.
Yeah, we're hoping to get it all down on paper, or down on
record.
I don't know, whatever magical land. I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's not record or CD.
So this is going to be your first ever studio recording of this song by the time we're done.
Yeah,
we record everything.
Suppose so.
How exciting!
Yeah.
All right. So what's the first one we're going to play? What's it called?
You want to do the 40 days?
Well, that's not new. I played that one last time. That one was one
All right.
I mean, we were talking about this. Maybe start with Watching.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
All right, man.
We're gonna while they're getting everything ready, we're gonna chit chat here back and forth.
Chit chat. Everybody.
You're not gonna bump into each other with your guitars or anything, right?
He's used to it.
So at least you don't,
I knock him around all the time.
At least you don't have like
It's
a
all
lefty
right.
and a righty together, so your necks are hitting each other.
Yeah, that's true.
I eat left-handed, and I hate sitting to the right of a right-handed person because their elbows are always knocking at the table.
We always make sure my brother's left-handed. He always sits at the end.
I met your brother, by the way, at TG's last night.
You met Mike or Andy?
Which
Which one?
So.
Gray hair?
He was tall, which surprised me.
Well, no. Did he have gray hair?
Yes, he had gray hair.
Gray hair and a mustache?
Yeah, he looked a lot like you, except good looking.
Okay.
Oh.
Ralph, you know I could turn your microphone off at any time.
I know you can.
at
I
any
know you
time.
can.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the studios we have Indigo Canyon. And the song you're going to play called again is?
It's called Watching.
Watch It.
Watch it.
Oh, we creep around this town. Oh, watching, wanting, looking for a sign. Oh, watching, oh, wanting, till this day as we are gay. Oh, our land he's gonna see. Oh, yeah, watching, oh, wanting. Till the day we get up and fight, or we'll lose our mind. Oh yeah, watching, oh watching. Oh, it's running round and round, and I can hardly see. Oh, but I can hardly see. see you looking round, and I can't forget the sound. Looking for a sign, oh, watching, oh, wanting. Till this day we get up and fight, oh, we're dead, losing our mind, oh, yeah, watching, oh, wanting. Till the day we get up and fight, oh, we're dead, losing our mind, oh, yeah, watching, oh, wanting. Oh, it's going round and round, and I can hardly see. Oh, but I can hardly see. Sometimes say fly and wait, oh, here now, and time see away. Oh, you know.
All right, yeah.
That was good. You know, I tasted a little bit of chili peppers in there. A tiny, tiny bit, which is weird because I'm not saying that it was a copy or an emulation, but you know, you like pick up different flavors of different songs. I don't know what it was about it, but it because it's acoustic and definitely not their hard jammy style, but it was almost like their songwriting has that real personal flair, that really emotional flair in it, and I don't know.
You know what came to my mind? Indigo Canyon. That sounded so much like Indigo Canyon to me. I thought it was just like.
I'm not saying you're not original. No, you're missing my point.
No,
that's a compliment.
I'm
it's kind of like when you drink a wine and you have like hints of blueberry and hints of whatever happens to be.
I can see where you're coming through that. Yeah.
Hear the influence.
Well,
I can hear it.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is a huge influence for me. So
Good.
Really? So I nailed that.
Yeah,
you did.
Absolutely.
It was in the guitar a little bit.
John Frusciante, yep.
He's back with the band now, I hear.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
I saw them in 1990, bada boom. That's how long ago. Like 92 in South Padre Island, Texas. There was a rumor that they were going to show up and play, and I was in the Air Force at the time. I was stationed in San Antonio at Lackland Air Force Base, and we got word that the Chili Peppers were going to show up in South Padre during spring break. And a buddy of mine and I hopped in my little Suzuki Swift and rolled all the way down to South Padre Island and crashed on the beach, hoping they were going to show up. And lo and behold, the Chili Peppers showed up, and it was an awesome party that two military members probably had no business being at with all those college kids, because there was a lot of drugs going around that we weren't allowed to even be around to partake in, but we'd smell it, and we just were like, oh, I remember that smell. But the music and the party that was going on there was great, and I was sold for life after seeing them show up and play for free live at a spring break. That's my Chili Peppers story.
They're great. I've seen them a few times. The Mother's Milk Tour was one of my favorites. I saw them down at, I think it was the Aragon, down in Chicago, and we're standing before the show, and we're waiting, for a couple of other buddies to show up. And I'm standing right next to Chad Smith, who's talking to a couple girls in the lobby. It was just like really cool. It's like, I'm not going to bug him because he's talking. He's, one of those things. You just don't, I'm working in radio too. So it's like, I'm not going to do that. And then this guy comes through, goes, this guy looking like Slash from Guns N' Roses. Oh, that's not him. That's not him. I looked. He's wearing Spurs. Nobody's going to let anybody into a concert that looks like Slash and let them wear Spurs.
Unless it's Slash.
It was Slash.
No kidding.
It was Slash. Everybody's yelling, hey, Slash. I go, hey, Saul. And he turned around and gave me one of these.
There you go.
That's very cool.
So anyways, that's my Slash.
What
That's my Chili Pepper Slash story.
Well, maybe Slash can play with the Chili Peppers, seeing as how
because they played a riff on one of their songs, "Sweet Child of Mine" on that album.
Yeah, maybe they can play with the Chili Peppers, seeing as how Axl Rose is fronting AC/DC these days.
Is that true? I didn't hear that.
No,
he toured with them last year.
He filled in for them because Brian Johnson was done vocally, and they had concerts that they had to fulfill or they out a ton of money, and Axl stepped in and sang, which I thought was kind of
who else was going to hit those notes?
Kind of classy of him to do that.
Yeah, it was.
Then I saw them in concert.
Axl Rose with AC/DC?
No, with his band, Guns N' Roses.
Awesome.
They were great.
Well, we're sailing out on a little Van Halen here because it is Eddie Van Halen's birthday. And we'll have to talk a little bit more about your take on Eddie Van Halen after the break. Thanks for tuning in to Get Real with Ralph. We'll be back in a few.
It's 9 o'clock. You're listening to AM 1050 WLIP Kenosha. Streaming live at WLIP.com. Now, CBS News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Sam Litzinger. Goodbye to one of the greatest players in basketball history. Former L.A. Lakers star Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 other people were killed when the helicopter they were in crashed near Calabasas, California. No word yet on why.
The good times that made us laugh.
Alicia Keys and Boyz II Men gave a musical tribute to Bryant at the Grammy Awards. They're being handed out at the Staples Center where he played ball. CBS News correspondent Steve Futterman's live near the scene of the helicopter crash.
Well, Sam, much of Los Angeles is in shock tonight.
You know, the guy brought a lot of love and enjoyment to the game of basketball.
Also reacting tonight, one of the Lakers' most famous fans, actor Jack Nicholson. He spoke to CBSN Los Angeles.
My reaction is the same as almost all of L.A. You just suddenly, where everything was solid, there's a big hole in the wall.
Now, a news conference is scheduled here in 1 hour. At that time, we may get official confirmation of all those on board the helicopter. Live in Calabasas, California, Steve Futterman, CBS News.
Bryant also helped the U.S. win Olympic titles in 2008 and 2012 after the Americans had been shut out of gold medals in major international basketball competitions since 2000. Health authorities say there are more confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the United States and more are expected. Reporter Sabrina Cupid.
5 people in the United States now have tested positive for the new coronavirus. The new cases are in Arizona and California. The one thing they all have in common?
All of these infections were in people with recent travel to Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak.
The CDC's Dr. Nancy Messonnier. She says just over 100 people are under investigation for the virus in 26 states. Sabrina Cupid for CBS News, Atlanta.
President Trump's legal team will make more arguments in his defense at tomorrow's Senate impeachment trial. One member, Alan Dershowitz, tells Fox News Sunday it really should be up to voters to decide what happens to Mr. Trump.
Let's put it up to the voters. Let's not destroy our heritage of our Constitution by expanding the criteria for impeachment beyond that what the framers accepted.
The New York Times says there's a claim President Trump told his then national security advisor back in August that he wanted to continue freezing security aid to Ukraine until officials there helped with investigations into Democrats, including Joe and Hunter Biden. Mr. Trump's statement was described by former National Security Advisor John Bolton in an unpublished book manuscript. Democrats say Bolton now needs to be a witness in the trial. At least one Republican senator suggests that's a good idea. This is CBS News.
Crime, punishment, redemption.
Even the most demented Hollywood writers would not have dreamed up an ending like this.
48 Hours, Saturdays on CBS.
Brought to you by Attorney Tax. If you're in trouble with the IRS and owe at least $10,000 in back taxes, listen to this important public announcement. The IRS is now offering a special program called the Fresh Start Initiative, which can offer significantly reduced settlements that can reduce your liability by thousands of dollars. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and substantially reduce or eliminate your tax burden. If you're approved and qualified, the IRS will stop the collections against you. Don't feel overwhelmed. Please call the Consumer Hotline to see if you qualify. 800-333-9896. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you may qualify for substantial relief and even forgiveness. See if you qualify and get the help you need by calling the Consumer Hotline. 800-333-9896. 800-333-9896. 800-333-9896.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Kenosha's radio station for news, talk, and sports. Live and local. Turn on AM 1050 or WLIP.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real, natural-looking hair back permanently. They're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts SAVE11 to 85850. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. You wash it. You cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text SAVE11 to 85850. That's SAVE11 to 85850.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Lenny Palmer Show, weekday mornings 8 till noon.
What's on tap for Monday? Well, you always know we cull the stories from the weekend, but we're probably going to have a little bit of an update on Foxconn and whether or not they're really going to hire anybody from here or just going to haul in everybody from Taiwan. So that's on the agenda. The impeachment, not lighting me up, but we could talk about that too as well. And anything else that comes down live and local, we're there on it like a bum on a bologna sandwich. 8 till noon, award-winning radio, be there.
AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Francenic Tax Resolution. Don't get frantic. Get Francenic. Delinquent taxes, bank levies, payroll tax issues? Go to 262tax.com.
Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 28. Those west winds stay around 10 miles per hour. Then Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. And Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on AM 1050 WLIP.
And you are running with Ralph Nudi.
How are you now?
Running with the Devil, Van Halen.
This is a song that came on when I was in high school. I'm like, who is this?
This is the only Van Halen song I ever covered in a band. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah. Eddie Van Halen's birthday. Happy birthday, Eddie. Is 65 years old.
65, and that is from the first Van Halen album. And I think it was the first track.
It is the first track.
It beat me to it. Running with the Devil. After that is Eruption, Then You Really Got Me. For those of us that are old enough to remember listening to entire album sides.
Oh, yeah.
There was something that got lost with digital music when it comes to that. Don't you guys think?
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean, I'll still listen to like Dark Side of the Moon all the way through. We just did that in the garage.
You cannot listen to anything on Dark Side of the Moon without listening to all of Dark Side of the Moon. It's almost a sacrilege.
Turned on all our band lights and just let it play. And
now this song that you're going to play is not as long as the entire album side of Dark Side of the Moon, though.
I mean,
it's close.
Close. And this is called 40 Days.
Yeah.
Is it a Jesus song?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, I was just curious. I just threw that out there. 40 days. I mean, that's like I just had to throw it out there. Not, I mean, I would.
I don't know enough about religion to even know what you're referencing. I was raised Catholic,
we're running
but
with the
I didn't
devil,
do a
man.
very good
I'm
job.
guessing half of
your mom's not listening.
Just
Michelle.
like Eddie Van Halen, I was running with the devil.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about that.
Well, here's Indigo Canyon with 40 Days, folks.
Inside all my memories, wanna know which way I roam. Oh, I lose it all for the ones we love. Lose it all for but sometimes I could buy. Know the way, that's the way, sing a song that I know the way, that's the way, sing a song that I gotta sing. Know the way, that's the way, sing a song that I gotta sing. Know the way, just the way, sing a song that I gotta sing. Whoa, whoa, and I gotta sing.
Yeah.
I like the change up. Love the change up.
Thanks.
Love the whole thing, but I really like the change up. So what's the inspiration behind the song?
I just had a lot of days in a row I couldn't sleep.
Lean forward.
Oh.
Gotta get
Oh,
really,
yeah, that's
really,
right.
really
I just
close.
I had a lot of days I couldn't sleep. Yeah, it was. I think music for me is kind of the only way I can like really process my emotions. So
That's a cool thing.
It's just every now and again a song will explode out of you, and that's kind of what happened with that one. That one was just one of those you sit down and a song kind of falls out, and that doesn't happen very often for me. Maybe for some people, but
I believe that, yes, there are artists who are tormented and live tormented lives, but most people have these experiences in their life, these negative experiences that they can't process.
Yeah.
And most artists aren't completely off the rails. They're just taking their personal pain and they're turning it into something beautiful. And you can say that about actors.
Artists, yep.
You can say that about musicians,
comedians,
visual
Most
artists.
definitely.
I'm going to be engaging in a new acting class using a technique called the Chubbuck technique.
Great technique.
Which is based on the book The Power of the Actor. And I'm starting this class, which I'm very excited about next week, but I already read the book. And I think that anybody who's in performance arts at all should read this book, The Power of the Actor. I'm not here to plug a book. I'm not getting paid for it. But
I've read that book.
It's a great book.
It's a fantastic
book. And it really teaches you how to do just that, how to take all of your inner pain and channel it into your creative efforts. As a public speaker, as a business executive, as an actor, as a musician, it doesn't really matter. This book has been translated into countless languages, and people all over the world are buying it as a how-to manual for business speaking these days.
Mm-hmm.
And after reading the book, I understand why. And it's because most people in the business world aren't in touch with their artistic side. And it does two things. One, it makes you more successful at your craft. But the second thing that it does is it provides a outlet, a therapy, if you will, and helps heal you without having to talk on a couch to some idiot for $300 an hour. And I'm not saying that they're all idiots. I'm just saying that facetiously because that person doesn't really know anything about your life when you walk in. You have way more. All they're doing is facilitating you using your power to get better.
Well, I think as artists, that's why we do it.
And as artists,
whenever I act or go on stage or do anything, I always say this is a lot cheaper than therapy.
Well, and if you're an A-lister, you're getting paid to conduct therapy on yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I get paid too.
We've sort of had that conversation a lot of times where, we can't. I mean, it's sort of unfathomable to think about people who don't have that kind of outlet like music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kind of things that I guess they build up and music just lets you get it all out. And
yeah.
It's weird to think because we're both musicians. We've been musicians for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to think about a life where you don't have that, and there's a lot of people, but
Yeah.
And a thing I think worth noting is like when you're creative, like just humans in general, you're happy.
Yeah.
And you've created something. You've bettered your situation, at least created something out of it. You're making progress, and whatever field you're in, it's going to make you more successful.
How do you like performing? How do you like being in front of people and performing? Was it hard for you at first? Oh, did it? Is it still hard? And we had a discussion earlier about doing stand-up, and somebody asked me why I'm not doing stand-up a lot. I said, well, it's nerve-wracking.
It's the one thing I can't do yet.
Yeah.
You and I've talked about this countless times. You've done it. I haven't.
I've done many times, but I'm doing more acting and more improv and more a sketch comedy type of stuff. But do I still want to do stand-up? I love doing stand-up, but it drives me nuts.
I keep writing these little quips and bits and pieces, and I am scared to death. Now, I can talk on the radio. I can be in a play. Right. I can sing. I am scared to death to stand in front of a microphone and start doing stand-up. And I know that I feel like if I can break through it, it would be awesome.
Right.
But I equate doing stand-up to standing in front of an audience naked, because that's how it feels. Like it's you, a microphone, a bottle of water, and your thoughts, your feelings, your hopes, and your dreams, and you have to crush your own hopes and dreams in order to get good laughs.
Yeah.
That and something that kind of helps me, because it was very, very hard for me. I mean, even this is really personal, and it's going to be disgusting, but
we like both personal and disgusting here.
So
that's why get real.
First, we're going to get real
Good.
Up in here. Like when I first started playing out again, it was a couple years ago, like I would think about going to an open mic, and I would be sick to my stomach for like a few days before, like actually upset. Yeah. And I think something that helps me perpetually try to get over is to remind myself of the artists that I love. What I love about them is that the ones who go for it, who are unapologetically themselves, and they just go for it. I think that's why so many artists close their eyes when they perform. It's easier when you basically put a curtain around yourself.
So much when you're singing a song.
Well, in theater, you call that the fourth wall, and you don't even have to close your eyes because you get blinded by the stage lights, and you don't see your audience.
So let's get to the disgusting part.
Yes.
Oh, diarrhea.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was hoping you wouldn't make me say it.
No, I want to know it.
I got the diarrhea.
I like to call it. I like to call it the loose. Hang on. The Lucy poops. The Lucy poops. I think that's a little cuter way of saying.
I just thought of a parody of
squirts.
I thought of a great parody for the Divinals.
Loopsy poopsies.
The Loopsy Poopsies.
I don't care about anybody else when I have to perform my crap myself.
All right. I like it. Brought to you by
song he wrote for me.
Brought to you by Depends. Depends going to be the.
Hey, Depends we haven't signed the contract with him. You can't say that yet. No.
Okay, got it. I've been known before I go on stage, as I'm doing a play or any type of improv, I get gassy. I'm gonna share that with you. I'm not gonna share with you right now.
Glad you're not nervous.
But
it's a small room.
I have I have people I perform with in the past. They know before we go on, to stay away from me.
Sure.
You're not the first one. There was somebody in Miracle on 34th Street, and I'm not naming names.
I will walk back in the alley behind the theater or something, and
yoga.
just let it out. Just let it out and come back in.
We had a cast member on Miracle who I'm not going to name names and embarrass him or her. I'm going to even leave it at that. But right before we go on stage, every time I'd be like, what the heck is that smell? And I wouldn't say anything. And my 7-year-old is in the cast with me. And all of a sudden she goes, Daddy, did you fart? And I'm like, I got my finger up to my lips because the person who did it is standing next to me. They just crop dusted. And they're not only nervous, but they're nervous about the fact that they just dropped, they just dropped some serious gas on us. And then a 7-year-old is going to call them out. And I'm freaking out, and it's almost making me want to.
Did you own it?
No.
Just take credit for it?
No.
Take the pressure out.
My daughter knew that it wasn't mine because it actually smelled bad.
Because
and my daughter.
Fun fact.
She knows
your
brand.
So real.
We're getting real.
This is real.
My wife gets so disgusted at the fact that my daughter will tell her if I happen to do that in the house. It's not that bad, Mommy. because that's how much of a daddy's girl she is.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It is, and I love it. I absolutely love it because I just look at my wife and I smirk.
so
I'm like,
sweet.
and I'm thinking to myself, remember when you used to think that about me, sweetheart?
So getting back to your Lucy poops. No, I'm kidding. I'll share one more fart story. Before we're about to go on, because we did a scene and we had to come off and change, had changed costumes and come back on. So me and my buddy are standing backstage and waiting for our cue to come out, and then I dropped one, and we were out there and we had to stand in front of the band that was playing. And it followed me out there. It was one of those that just follows you out there.
Like a Cranberries song. Did you have to let it linger?
It's just kind of like there. And, we're singing.
Like that?
We're singing. We're singing. My buddy's looking at me. We're singing. We're looking at each other. He's going like, and the guys in the band are going, what the heck is going on?
For the record, ladies and gentlemen, when Mr. Setlovich first introduced himself to me at the studio and was going to operate the board for me, the first thing he told me is stay away from poop jokes. So
did I really?
Yes, you did.
I think I used the S word.
You did, but I don't want to make you hit the dump button, no pun intended.
Dump. It says right there, dump.
It does.
I see
the
what
dump
you did
button.
there. Yeah.
The dump button is when you swear, and we had how many musical guests now that they love the SH word?
Yeah.
That it just flows out. And
we already talked about that.
And suddenly Jim is slowly reaching over with his finger, like hovering over the button because he knows that crappy word's going to come out of their mouth, and boom, off it goes. And we had a laugh about it at their expense. And then when they figured it out, they were almost embarrassed. Like, oh, did I do something wrong? We're like, no, we didn't tell you. It's our fault. But you forget because when you're in the studio talking to each other, you just start having a great time.
So are there rituals you go through before you go on stage besides the Lucy poops? Is there something else that no, let's get serious again. Is there anything?
Let's get real with poop.
Let's get real. Is there anything you guys any type of?
Not anymore.
No.
I mean, for me,
you slap each other on the butt or something. Let's have a good show.
I would love to get a band huddle going before we start.
But we're always late.
We're all yeah.
Because you're artists.
And we do
still
our
plugging
own
in
sound,
everything,
so we're still like.
Yeah, we're often
Poop.
doing our own sound.
Crap! We have to do. I almost said it.
That's all right.
I almost said it.
I got my finger on the dump button.
Shoelaces.
We
haven't even sound checked yet.
Shoelaces.
Oh, let's not get there. That's funny.
Brachiosaurus.
One of a sitch, right? That's So, when's the next time you guys play? What's going on? Let's talk about that.
The big one we want to push in Kenosha here is at Fusion on Valentine's Day with Matt Meyer and the Smooth Operators.
Ooh,
oh my goodness, that is a lineup and a half.
Just kidding.
Yeah. That's gonna be what TG's you said?
No,
Fusion.
Fusion.
Yeah.
Fusion.
All
Us
right.
and Matt Meyer, and we're really excited about that one. We're hoping to.
We're gonna try to get Don Miller to build a tunnel of love. I promised it in the event, so now we
gotta get Don Miller in. We haven't had Don in here
he
yet.
would be a good one to have on here.
He's
done amazing, awesome things.
No, he played at Songs of Freedom, but we haven't had him here yet. And I really, you're right. He needs.
He was to come in with the Rust Belt, but he was out of town.
That's right. That's right. They all came without him.
So I'm looking at your schedule here. February 1st, you're playing at the Hive.
Oh yeah,
Prep
that's
room?
in East Troy.
Up in East Troy. That's a great place, by the way.
I hear a lot about the Hive. I know Would You
They're
Kindly
great.
plays there a lot.
Yeah,
and
they sell mead there.
Do they now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's delicious.
It's cold brewed. Like she was a veterinarian.
Like
Okay.
It's a
Irish,
husband-wife
like Irish
thing.
mead.
No, it's not like that. It's light and frothy. It's like brewed like a
and
beer.
carbonated.
Yeah, it's carbonated, and they infuse all these different flavors they got.
GTF out of here. Where's this?
In East Troy.
They cold brew it, so you still get
They
like the
cold
health
brew and
benefits
carbonate
of honey.
mead.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's
Wow.
really good.
Yeah. I've never had anything like it.
And then
For those of you that don't know what mead is a liquor made out of honey. So think about that. That's straight up amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a family friendly. They've got a giant kid room, dogs welcome.
Do they give them mead too? Because I would love that.
They brew kombucha and different sodas from
Yeah, they
honey.
have some honey sodas for the kids and stuff. But
Oh, the Hive. I get it.
Yeah, it took you. Oh my god.
I'm joking. I got it right
and
away.
you thought I was slow on the uptake.
family-owned business. Though,
Sometimes I am.
Husband and wife, and the wife does the bees and cultivates all the honey herself, really
wow.
locally, and then the husband does all of the brewing. So, great little place.
And that's in East Troy, folks.
Yeah.
That's
The
on
Hive?
February 1st. And then the 14th, you're with Matt Meyer and the Smooth Riders.
Smooth Riders.
Does the Hive have food?
They have food
do
trucks
the
come
truck
in
thing,
and
yeah.
stuff. but,
Food trucks.
They
Yeah.
get local stuff in there. I know they've had like Gypsy Soul, which is kind of a local one, and they've had a couple other things.
Oh, I'm talking into the mic now.
You gotta lean in to the mic.
She's the mic now.
She's just strolling off. I'm gonna talk over there.
I'm
a
just
little
talking to Ralph. We're just hanging out.
Getting real.
Yeah, you got to get close to the mic and then look over.
So
at
February
you.
14th, you're in Kenosha Fusion.
Kenosha Fusion.
The following night, you are in Lake Geneva at the Ridge Hotel.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's that like? What's that place like? Have you
it's-
played there yet?
Yeah, we played there a number of times. We're on a rotating schedule there. Last year, during the summertime, they have us out on the veranda, and it's just a really beautiful view.
Yeah, over Lake Como.
Vantage point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, behind us. And,
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean.
But not on February 15th. I mean.
No, we'll be
We're
inside. We'll
yeah.
be
You'll be
inside for
inside
that.
Okay.
In their beer garden.
Yeah.
Then to
Inside beer
then to
garden.
round off, you on the 24th. Actually, you just did the 24th. You were just at Union Park Tavern. How'd that go?
It was really fun.
Yeah, a little bit of a snowstorm, so
Yeah.
probably not as many people as we would have liked to go,
Yeah.
but it was still a really good time.
As with Would You Kindly?
No, that was actually before that at the Creative Space.
Oh, the Creative Space
with
you
Would
played.
Kindly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
All right.
so snowstorm. So.
Yeah,
Snowstorm that day, yeah,
two
yeah.
snowstorms.
Those winter shows, I tell you what.
Bad track record.
I used to
Kenosha
produce some winter shows. I'm just like, oh, well, let's do another burlesque show. Let's do it in the winter. I'm like, I don't want to do another winter one.
Who wants
because-
to strip down to their underwear in the winter?
well, you do it on Valentine's Day weekend. A lot of people show up, because that's a good thing.
Yep.
But you're always like, if we get a snowstorm,
Yeah.
all that planning, all
Could
that
you imagine
work.
getting snowed into the burlesque show, though? That would be kind of fun.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I mean, that would be just
That would be okay.
fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be aight.
That would be
See,
aight.
I'm so street. I'm so street.
You're so street.
I guess
He's getting real up in
I'm
her.
getting real up in here. Up in here.
You're so real, Jim, that you would probably we could drop you off in South Central, and I'm sure you would survive for like a whole 15 minutes.
There'd be an amazement first for the first 15 minutes going, I'm not sure what to do with this guy.
Maybe I could come with you.
Yeah,
We
he'll
could-
keep you safe.
Yeah.
With his long legs. That's what
yeah,
she said.
exactly.
That's what she said.
Now music.
That is what she said.
What do you guys want to play for us next?
The next one's gonna be a new old one.
A new old one.
Yeah, a song I wrote a year and a half ago, I think. Year
Okay.
and a half. But we knew we were coming here to play acoustic, so really just tonight we tried to work out some harmonies for it. So
Mhm.
it could go really good or really bad, but it's a fun song.
If anything, it's going to be real.
That's what's
gonna be
amazing
real.
about live radio. You don't get a second take. You can't double up the lead.
Sure.
You can't come back in and put your own backing tracks. You just got to get raw and get real.
I sing on this one, and
Okay.
I sing pretty loud, so I'm going to probably go stand in the hallway over here.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Jim will turn
think
you
you
down
should
if you're
get
too
over
loud.
here.
You just got to back off the
We-
mic a
we
little.
both
You'll be
sing.
good.
We
But
both
yeah,
sing,
she's going to
so-
sing too, so we'll.
I think we'll be fine.
Well,
We'll make it work.
let's set this up now.
All right.
Folks, if you want to go into Indigo Canyon, they have a Facebook page. So just go to that Facebook page, like them. Oh my God, I don't like you guys yet.
Oh my God.
Oh wow! What?
my
What?
God.
What?
You know they need like a love.
Like-
They need a love button
Love.
on Facebook. Wouldn't that be cool to have a love button?
There, well, I'm not gonna get into that.
'Cause I would totally love it if people.
I don't want to. Let's not talk about the love button.
I think I would click. I think I would click the love button.
I would definitely be all over that love button.
I'm putting a love button on our show page somehow.
Let's
Even-
get a button that says love on it. All right, and we'll have that love button. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the studio, they haven't left. Is Indigo Canyon.
And by the way, they just before they play here, they tag team and they swap. Michelle is now playing the bass. So I just wanted everybody to know that they're very.
She played the
forward.
bass on the first song, then guitar, and then the six string on the second.
Was it
song.
Mama played bass, Daddy played the fiddle?
Something like that.
And with that, we'll leave you to your own devices.
Tuesday morning I left your home. The sun was shining This moment never dies.
Great harmony,
Outstanding.
great music.
Great energy. Holy man.
Great energy. You can feel that you guys really are into that together.
No wonder you had to stand out in the hallway for that one, brother. I'm telling you what. You're bringing it.
I tried to warn you.
There's singing it, and then there's bringing it. And, brother, you brought that. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you
bringing
very
it.
much.
Bringing it. Indigo Canyon, we're going to hear another tune from them. We're going to go into break here pretty soon.
We are. After this next tune, right? Is that what we're doing?
We're going to go to this break, and we'll come back with a tune. How's that sound to you?
I think we should flip for it.
Okay.
Go to the break.
On air at AM 1050. Online at WLIP.com, Facebook and Twitter. Live and local. We are Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP.
If you're struggling with over $10,000 in credit card debt, listen up. The following information could save you a lot of money. The credit card companies don't want you to know this, but if you can't afford to pay off all your credit card debt, I've got news for you. You may not have to. Call 1-800-965-5476. I'm not talking about bankruptcy. I'm not talking about debt consolidation. I'm talking about Credit Associates, experts at negotiating down credit card debt to a lot less than you owe. To find out how much of your debt could be forgiven, call 1-800-965-5476. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible, without bankruptcy or debt consolidation. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk to call. For free information, call now. 1-800-965-5476. 1-800-965-5476.
Are you looking for the hottest places to have a dinner date or the coolest places to grab a drink and appetizers with friends? Well, 262 Eats has it all. 262 Eats is a local food show that features the best the area has to offer. Watch Ralph Nudi as he samples the food, interviews the owners, and takes you inside and behind the scenes of the favorite places of locals and travelers alike. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to win prizes, gift certificates, and get special discount offers. That's 262 Eats.
Hey, it's P1 Have the Lip Off guys here on AM 1050 WLIP. Dan and I are back live at 5 Monday afternoon, so hold your lip offs in abeyance until then, and then we'll return with WLIP's Open Line Show, where you can pick up the phone, dial in, and talk about whatever is on your mind. But if you need a lip off fix between then and out, check out our podcast page. Go to WLIP.com, click on shows, click on lip off. We'll keep you busy all weekend long. Then join us Monday live at 5 for another edition of Lip Off.
AM 1050 WLIP.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get out and make it another great Kenosha weekend. Come back Monday for Wake Up Kenosha 5 until 8. State Senator Bob Wirch on the show. Don't get frantic, it's Paul Francetic from Francetic Tax Resolutions. Mr. Grumble, Steve Casey, he's got plenty to say in one man's opinion. Up to $24.50 in the Money Wheel, another week of dinner and a movie. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday 5 till 8. Wake up, Kenosha!
This is Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP. AM 1050 WLIP, Kenosha County Radar Weather. Brought to you by
Waukegan Tire, where family matters most. Award-winning service and the best deals on tires and wheels.
Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 28. Those west winds stay around 10 miles per hour. Then Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. And Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 36. Weather twice an hour or when severe weather strikes on AM 1050 WLIP.
1, 2.
Come on,
And we're back on Get Real with Ralph. Come on, baby, finish what you started. Probably the most soulful, sexiest Van Halen song ever made.
I love this song. I was seeing an interview with Sammy, and this song is about him and Eddie wrote this song very quickly. Eddie was at his house 2 o'clock in the morning throwing stones up at Sammy's window while Sammy's in the bedroom with his wife trying to make it.
Satisfied.
And this is a song he came up with. This song is about him going back to his bed.
Ooh. Come on, baby.
Finish what you started.
All right. So that's
Great
him,
song.
That's him coming back to his wife. Finish what you started.
I love it.
But anyways, that's the story. You guys have.
You know,
stories?
my other favorite is Black and Blue.
Yeah, it's
got
good,
some,
another good one.
Some crazy, sexy undertones to it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, back in the studio, Indigo Canyon.
Any sexy undertones to this one?
Hello.
Hello.
What's got sexy undertones that you play?
This one's a little sexy.
It's a little sexy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, sure.
What?
You were supposed to tell me.
I want to ask you guys, how'd you come up with Indigo Canyon? By the way, it's pretty trippy and cool. That's awesome.
Have you ever tried to come up with a band name?
Yeah, I always just make them up just for the hell of it.
We realize that people judge. I mean, we do. We judge. We try to guess. You hear a band name, and you're like, oh, you kind of assume their sound. So we tried to think of I guess, what kind of music we wanted to write and what might fit that.
Well, the
With
name
Lucy,
Indigo Canyon makes me think I'm going to hear like some Grateful Dead jam band kind of music.
When we're with us, we definitely get jammy. Like our band, we do get jammy. Like the full band.
Do you wear jammies when you play jammies?
Sometimes only.
That'd be a good jammy jam night.
Jammies jam night.
Only
I love
when
it.
Megan gives us enough roofies. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Mom.
Now that is funny. I don't care who you are.
What am I missing here? I'm missing something.
You're missing the roofies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Everyone's
She's
doing
holding out. She only gives it to, I don't know. I don't think it makes sense.
Well, let's ask Molly.
Mostly just Ralph,
Mostly.
from what I hear. I mean,
I'm always afraid that my wife's going to crush up roofies and Viagra at the same time.
she's gonna have a real.
That way
good
she
time.
doesn't have to have a
She's like,
conversation.
So what's in that?
Happy birthday to me.
So, what's the name of the next song that you're going to do? Jim says, well, trying to
Mom.
change the subject.
Digging away. Yeah, move that.
I think Jim almost lost it.
I did. It was close. It's close to the dump button. What's the name of the song?
It's, Digging Away.
Digging Away.
Another old new one. Bringing it back. I used to be in another band called No One Soldier.
Yeah, with
One
with
Soldier.
Chad.
Chad?
Chad,
No, that was a different band.
That
Well,
was
he was in that band too for a minute.
Yeah, well, for a minute he was. Yeah.
And Richard Cranium was the big
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I was in that band as well.
Okay, yeah.
Wait.
I think that's where I met you from.
Wait.
Don't go there.
You were in a band called Richard Cranium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
They were
so
fun.
that you don't have
You
to
guys-
hit
you-
the dump button.
You guys were
but
fun.
Love
I've
it.
seen you a few times.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Y'all ready for this?
You're all set up.
Do
here.
it.
I'm set up.
What was worth the making that was made to push children into the grave? What was worth the saving that was saved doesn't come around anyway. To your miner's way, you paid the way to the grave. The music doesn't care about you anyway. What did you expect to find in your hamster cage? But a wheel to spin you around and around. Run, you try to make sure that everyone's digging away. Away to the grave. Digging away. Away to the grave. Digging away. the sky with the demons who attach to the puppets who run in your life. Have a reach through the glass to cover your eyes. Well, through the TV screen, how much could it mean to be seen in the public eye? Well, to feed your need and infect you with greed, that seed that's been planted in your mind has got you digging away, away to the grave. Digging away, away to the grave. Digging away.
I kind of really like that.
Thanks, man.
I was like,
It's a little condensed.
no, that was really awesome.
It almost needed a moment of silence after it. It was so good. I just was sitting there, almost forgot I was on the radio. I got a little lost in it.
I just wanted to light some candles and
Not
turn
that
the
it-
lights down and you know.
Thanks.
That
smoke
was-
stuff.
Yeah.
You
That-
know, and just really get into it.
That was
Well, when you guys
darn
moved to
sexy.
Gurnee.
we moved to Gurnee.
Maybe you'll have an LED behind or something.
Maybe it might be a dispensary down there by then.
That I've heard you guys play several times.
That one?
No, I've heard you play several times,
Oh.
different venues here on the show. That is by far, and that's not to say anything bad about everything else because it's great. If that's great, this is great to the 10th power. That's an amazing song.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Definitely makes the list of top songs
Yeah.
ever played on this show.
No, we haven't really talked about influences. What you know?
Well, we
certain-
talked about Chili Peppers for a
Well,
minute.
yeah, for a minute that you heard, but you
there
know,
that was way bluesier, but not blues. It was just everything.
Yeah.
What was the influence for that?
Ooh, musically speaking or lyrically speaking?
Both. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
That song hit me working at a job that I didn't like, and was thinking about the rat race. You know, thinking about, I mean, digging away to the grave. You know, a lot of it's about, a lot of songs about, and you know, you've got the TV kind of telling you what to buy, and so you go work at your job so you can come home and watch TV and figure out what you need to buy and then go back to work. And that cycle, you know, being on the hamster wheel, you know, digging away to the grave. And, you know, I felt myself just kind of in that rat race a little bit and kind of got really inspired and felt a little hip-hoppy. I don't know, I kind of, it's a little bit of a rap almost, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, and just let the music kind of come next after that, you know.
I like it. So now tell us more about your musical influences as far as groups, artists that you've listened to through the course of your life that have shaped who you are as musicians. And I'm sure it's going to be different for each of you.
Thousands.
But one at a time, you guys decide who goes first. But I mean, I want to hear like the first 5 names that come to your head when you think about who shaped you as a musician.
Sure. You know, it's pretty widespread. You know, I think I got into music. I got into music in the grunge rock area. So sure, you know, your Nirvana and Soundgarden and all those bands. And Tool was really big for me, actually. I love Tool a lot.
You said Tool.
But you know, after I kind of grew out of that stage, I was looking for weirder. I got into like Radiohead. And then right around the time I was like 19.
Did Creep suck you into Radiohead?
No.
I fell in love with that song the moment I heard it. I remember hearing it for the first time. I was stationed in South Korea when that song came out. And I just just fell in love with it.
Super powerful song, yeah.
Great song.
But I mean, that didn't quite suck me in until, I mean, I think somebody introduced me to one of their lesser known albums, more later album, Amnesiac, and I got into that one. But then when I was 19, my dad gave me all his old vinyl records, and so I kind of went back in time and
sweet.
Got a lot more into, you know, there was like Sabbath and Zappa and Clapton, and it made me really want to learn how to play my guitar, actually, not just play chords. And so, you know, Hendrix and all of those things, and really got into playing guitar a lot more. And oh man, yeah, the list could go on and on.
We had Haven in, was it last week?
Yeah.
Haven Wells, Misbehaving.
Yeah.
And we were talking a lot about the fact that I feel like real music is making a comeback into music where people want to pick up instruments and play them again instead of just popping open their laptop, opening up their phone, and making a noise come out of something that's computer generated. There's the art that goes with it.
Hopefully.
It's like, no matter how great photography is, painting is still a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's a good analogy.
I'm seeing more and more and more of it in the up and coming musicians again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great. And I was talking about the fact that I think we all as artists and people who support the arts need to get into a broader initiative to push musical instruments back into poorer areas. And it doesn't have to be band and orchestra instruments. I mean, guitars. Get guitars in the hands of kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, low-income, middle-income kids who just never even thought about playing guitar before.
Sure.
Or anything else. And I see it happening, and I see it's this really slow build. And if what's happening in the rest of the world is the same as what's happening here, I think we're in for some treats in the next 10 years of music, because I
hope so.
We went through a musical desert, I'd say, for a good 10 years where there was just nothing new and nothing good.
I'd say 20.
20. You know, country now sounds like today's country is yesterday's rock and roll.
I haven't watched I haven't watched the Grammys at all tonight, but I'm watching the social media when people are just posting, "Who the heck is this person? What did they go? That was complete crap." What's out there?
My 12-year-old was all excited about watching the Grammys, and then I reminded him it was at the same time as Get Real with Ralph, and he said, "Get real, Dad. I'm watching the Grammys."
Smart kid.
Yeah.
So Michelle, what about your influences, girl?
So influences. Okay. Top 5, you say?
Top 5.
Radiohead was huge for me. And that was more so OK Computer. I love the dissonance, the harmony. I mean, Pink Floyd, for the same reason. I like that they're both bands that are willing to get so quiet and so intimate. And
it's risky.
It's risky. And especially you watch it, I feel like it's the hardest to do that live. I mean, to get up there and do things low and slow while you're freaking out, or or being able to calm yourself down to that level.
Right.
It's just,
you know, if you pucker up too much,
beautiful.
you sound like Coldplay, and you don't want to do that.
No, not so much. Don't want to. I mean, they're good musicians, but
they are. But...
I mean, apart from all, you know,
whatever.
The politics of music, stealing people's stuff isn't cool. Yeah, those two for sure. Beck was huge. He's got his weird, and that was for both of us, definitely.
This really was a perfect match, wasn't it?
We have a lot of you know, couples are like a Venn diagram. We've got, especially you gotta have overlap. You can't be too much the same. You can't be too different. Just a little bit in the middle to keep it interesting. And
can I pause for a second?
What's
you were
that?
talking about how we met and stuff, and that was a big moment. We were hanging out.
Radiohead came up, and you were like,
"Yes." PG version of this?
we were hanging out at an after party. You guys know Denoma.
Yeah, oh yeah. We had
hanging out.
Steffi in here a couple weeks ago.
Denoma Studio, and you know, just hanging out, and she starts playing a Beck tune. I'm like, I'm in love. I don't know anyone who even knows the song,
Right.
let alone can sing it and play it. So
Nice,
that was huge for me.
nice.
Especially chicks. Chicks who play Beck are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Yeah. So, is that it then, or you got more? I'm sure there's got to be a ton more.
There are a lot more, but
Yeah.
Flaming Lips and
Flaming
Modest
Lips?
Mouse
Nice,
were
nice.
very big for me. Not that I write
Yeah.
anything like
Oh
them,
no, but
I
it's,
just
but it's what
they're-
what gets you going. It kind of just like And I got I got a question for you. What's the name of your dog on your Facebook page?
Luna.
Luna.
Yeah. My name, I wanted to name her Puddles because
Okay.
she pees a lot.
Puddles.
She peed everywhere all the time.
Oh,
but then
you
he's
in the
like-
poops and she's with the peeps.
She was just
We're a
a
perfect
puppy,
family.
and because she was Puddles, we had to bring her with to the photo shoot,
Mhm.
and we just thought, why not? We'll just get her
She's
in there.
sweet. What kind of dog is she?
German Shorthair Pointer.
Okay, yeah.
She's a great dog.
That's
We
awesome.
bring her everywhere.
And that's like your favorite hat you're wearing right now, because that's a hat on your Facebook page.
Yeah, it's the only one I own.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
A good friend of mine got this for me.
Oh,
so.
that's is that like your signature type of thing? You wear it when you play all the time too, or
No, not at all. No, it was just cold outside, and
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
take it off because my head is sweaty.
That's your next song that you guys are
Head
gonna write.
is sweaty,
My head
yeah.
is sweaty.
Yeah.
You know.
Your sweat is heady.
It's heady.
Yeah, your sweat
Heady,
is heady.
sweaty,
Sweat is heady.
Betty, Weddy.
Eddie Vedder.
Eddie, Weddy.
You know what? This is proof that we're ready for another song.
Well, we got 4 minutes left.
We could do another.
We're gonna
one.
ride this out into the sunset with your
Okay.
last song.
Okay.
So
So if you hear the news come up in your earphones, just keep playing.
Okay.
Because we got 4 minutes, folks.
We
You've
do.
been listening to what show? What show is this?
this is Get Real with Ralph.
And what band is this?
This is Indigo Canyon. You can find them on Facebook. You can watch on our show link. We'll have links to all of their social media when we rebroadcast this. Thanks for tuning in, because we're going to let them tune us out. Let's go.
This is our newest one. All right.
Hey, let's do this.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.